The one they tried to bury was the one who held the blueprint to their survival. Now the roots they cursed are cracking their own foundation. They didn't just cross a line, they drew the line in your blood. They didn't just betray you, they offered your name like a sacrifice and laughed while you bled. Let's not sugarcoat it. They saw your innocence and called it weakness. They saw your kindness and weaponized it. They saw your silence and mistook it for defeat. And now, omen after omen is haunting them. Tower after tower is collapsing. Every whisper they sent into the universe to curse you is now screaming in their own ears. This message is not for everyone. This is for the chosen ones who got lied on, spied on, dragged through the mud, and still rose with clean hands. So if you feel this message in your bones, if the signs have been too loud to ignore, then like this video and subscribe right now to help it reach more chosen ones. When you engage, you help signal to YouTube's algorithm that there are others who need to hear this truth before another enemy tries it again. You see, omen after omen, they're watching you win while they lose it all. They're in divine timeout is not just a title. It's a reality they tried to rewrite and failed. You were never delusional. You were never overreacting. They gaslit you to sleep while plotting how to silence you for good. But now, the signs are everywhere, and they know it's about them. Let's be honest, these people didn't just want to see you fall. They wanted to orchestrate it. They gossiped like it was gospel. They smeared your name in rooms you were never invited to, then sat front row pretending they didn't know why the lights kept flickering. But now their ears are ringing. Their homes feel haunted. They're glancing over their shoulders because the same protection they mocked is now exposing their secrets. Don't you remember how they treated you when you were down, when you were rebuilding in silence? They kicked you, mocked you, tried to break your will with their silence, their control, their obsession with your downfall. They called you crazy, said you were cursed, said you'd never make it. They slandered your name in courtrooms, offices, family kitchens, and even spiritual circles. But here's the part they didn't see coming. You were always being watched and protected, even in your lowest moment. They tampered with your reputation. They sent dark energy your way. Some even did rituals, thinking their little circle of broken souls had the power to override your future. They were out here casting shadows while you were building light. And now, they're feeling it. Cars breaking down, health collapsing, relationships falling apart, unexpected losses, financial ruin, court dates, surveillance, panic attacks in the middle of the night because they know you didn't touch them, but something is. Why? Because universal law doesn't miss. Energy doesn't lie. What they sent is coming back, and it's not asking permission. They mocked the omens. Now they are the omens. You're the one walking in peace, and they're the ones watching in pieces. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything. Your glow is louder than their gossip now. Your elevation is evidence. Your silence is suffocating their lies. And every time they see you win, a part of them dies a little inside, because they know they tried to kill the very spirit that's now thriving. This is divine timeout, and they're not just watching you rise, they're watching themselves sink. One by one, they're being removed from your story, not with drama, but with silence, distance, and omens they can't shake. The universal balance doesn't need your help, it just needed you to let go. And you did. That's why it's their turn now, omen after omen, breakdown after breakdown, while you sit in stillness, protected, covered, and aligned. They underestimated your light, and now they're blinded by it. Let them feel it. Let them see it. let them remember what happens when you try to destroy someone whose story was meant to survive. Because this season, the show is yours, and they're stuck in the audience, trembling in divine timeout. And chosen one, don't go anywhere. What you just heard? That was only the warning shot. The real revelations, layered, raw, and ruthless, are about to unfold one by one. So if you've been feeling the shift, seeing the omens, and sensing eyes on your glow, this message is yours. Drop a 777 in the comments if you feel like your wins have been triggering strange losses in others. And if this message is speaking directly to your spirit, hit that super thanks and support the ones who stay up decoding the signs so you never have to second-guess your path again. And now, let's dive into it, step by step. Don't blink, don't scroll, because if you're truly one of the chosen, your soul won't let you walk away from this message unfinished. Let's begin. Number 1, the window is closed, permanently. The universe gave them grace. They used it to plot. They had time, so much time. They had space, silence, mercy, and even hidden protection they didn't deserve, but they used all of it to sharpen their knives behind your back. While you were healing, they were scheming. While you were trying to rebuild your peace, they were busy collecting bricks to throw at your name. And now, that window, the one they thought they could crawl through when it all crumbles, is slammed shut, permanently. This isn't a warning, it's a verdict. They gambled with grace, thought they'd always have another chance to play innocent, to say, "I didn't mean it," to circle back like nothing happened. But the universe isn't some passive force that tolerates disrespect. It's a ledger. It watches. It waits. And when it moves with justice that doesn't knock twice. They didn't just mess with you, they messed with a soul that was meant to overcome. And now they're seeing exactly what happens when you betray someone who was chosen to survive, not suffer. Ask yourself, how many times did you give them the benefit of the doubt? How many nights did you cry while they celebrated your confusion? How many fake apologies did they offer with a smirk, only to stab again once your back was turned? The truth is, they never thought you'd make it this far. They never believed you'd be the one they'd have to watch from the bottom while you ascend, without even glancing down. Because let's be real, they never respected the way you fought. You didn't scream, beg, or cause a scene. You just evolved. You just kept showing up to your life while they kept betting on your downfall. And now, the door they assumed would always be open, the door to your forgiveness, your energy, your alignment, is locked with no spare key. They're calling you cold now, right? Distant, heartless, saying, "You changed." Of course you changed. You were never meant to stay accessible to people who mistook your softness for stupidity. That wasn't love they had for you. It was entitlement. They didn't value you. They just assumed you'd never walk away. But when the universe shut the door, it didn't just protect you, it trapped them on the other side of their own karma. This is what happens when you mistake a season of grace for a lifetime of access. Look at the greats, Michael Jordan, Oprah, Steve Jobs. Every single one of them had a period where they were doubted, disrespected, sabotaged, where people whispered, "They'll never come back from that." But what happened? They didn't just come back, they became unreachable. The same voices that laughed behind their backs now study their every move. That's what happens when you walk through fire and come out gold. Not everyone gets to witness your rise, especially not the ones who tried to burn you down. And don't let their silence fool you now. Just because they aren't speaking your name doesn't mean you've escaped their minds. No, you're haunting them. Every success you post, every glow-up they hear about, every piece of peace you carry like armor. It triggers something in them that can't be buried. You are the proof that what they tried didn't work, and that's eating them alive. You ever wonder why they're still watching you? Why they linger around your life like moths to flame? Because they thought they'd always have time. Time to control the story. Time to twist the narrative. Time to come back when you forgot what they did. But the clock struck, and now the only time they're experiencing is timeout. The universe doesn't wait for people to change when their hearts are committed to harming others. It removes them abruptly, ruthlessly, and without explanation. That's what you're seeing now. Strange losses, delayed blessings, doors slamming in their faces, people turning on them the same way they turned on you. That's not coincidence. That's collection. That's the universe saying, you had your window. You misused it. Now watch someone else walk through the one that was meant for you. You've been elevated to a level they can't fake their way into. This isn't a temporary shift, it's a permanent separation. Because you're not who you used to be. You no longer entertain conversations that drain your spirit. You don't chase after people who treated your presence like an option. You don't explain your boundaries or beg for understanding. You've tasted peace, and now you refuse to go back to anything that threatens it. And they can feel that deeply. It's not just that they lost you, it's that they lost access to the version of you who was willing to give without receiving, who prayed for them when they gossiped, who tried to heal what they were busy breaking. That version is gone, and in its place, a force, a presence, a spirit that answers to truth, not manipulation. They thought they could come back whenever it was convenient, but the stage is set, the curtains are open, and their name isn't on the program. Let them talk, let them twist the truth, let them pretend they walked away first. It doesn't matter anymore, because the real ones, they see it, they feel it, and most importantly, you feel it. That peace in your spirit right now, that stillness that doesn't need revenge, that's the confirmation. The window is closed, and nothing they say, post, or perform can open it again. So if you're feeling that shift, don't question it. Embrace it. You're not heartless. You're healed. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not bitter. You're better. And you're not alone. There are millions of us who had to watch the people we loved turn into enemies just because we chose to grow, just because we didn't die when they expected us to, just because we refused to stay small for their comfort. And now, we rise. Not with vengeance, but with vision. Let this be your reminder. Grace is temporary, karma is guaranteed, and access to your life is not a revolving door. The window is closed. Let them watch from the outside. Number 2, omens everywhere. They can't escape the signs. Oh, the universe doesn't whisper anymore, it screams. They wanted to mock you when you spoke about energy. They rolled their eyes when you mentioned intuition. They smirked when you said, the universe has a way of handling things. They called you delusional, overly emotional, said you were just trying to play victim. But now they're the ones sitting up at 3:33 a.m., staring at the ceiling with a stomach full of regret and a room full of signs. Because the whispers they laughed at have turned into screams they can't ignore. There are omens everywhere. Flickering lights in rooms with no wiring issues, random chills running down their spine when no windows open, nightmares that repeat the same faces, same conversations, same consequences over and over again. They're hearing your name in conversations that have nothing to do with you. They're seeing symbols that connect back to you. They're watching you show up in their dreams, not peaceful, not angry, but distant, untouchable, gone. And that's what scares them most. not the punishment, not the consequences, but the distance, because deep down they know the moment you stopped caring was the moment everything around them started unraveling. They tried to erase you, but the universe carved your presence into their atmosphere. You see, the spiritual realm doesn't operate on ego, it operates on energy. And when someone tries to destroy a soul that's aligned, the universe doesn't just sit back and observe, it reacts. Slowly at first, a glitch here, a weird sign there, but once the disrespect reaches a boiling point, it sends the storm, and right now, they're in it. Crows on windowsills, mirrors breaking without reason, phones glitching when they try to spy on you, music that plays the exact lyrics that remind them of what they did, angel numbers that don't feel so angelic anymore. These aren't accidents, these are messages, and they know it. They feel it in their chest. It's why they've grown paranoid, why they've started burning sage they don't believe in, why they suddenly care about what Mercury retrograde means. Because their spirit knows they've been marked, not by you, but by the very order they mocked when they were busy pretending their hands were clean. They thought karma was a joke. Now they're praying for grace in a storm they created. You ever wonder why they don't look the same? Why their glow is gone? Why they age like they're carrying something heavier than their years? That's not just life. That's what guilt looks like when it festers inside someone who refuses to take accountability. That's what denial looks like when it tries to outrun the truth. That's what happens when you mess with a spiritually protected soul and think the universe won't respond. The same way they mocked your prayers, they now whisper their own at night. The same way they laughed when you tried to heal, they now Google spiritual cleansing with trembling hands. But it's too late. Because the omens aren't just external, they're internal now. Their intuition is tormenting them, their subconscious is glitching, their dreams are betraying the masks they try to wear in public. They can't escape the mirror now, and in that mirror, all they see is what they did to you. Let me be clear, this isn't about revenge, this is about justice. You never asked the universe to harm them, you never wished pain on them. But truth doesn't need your permission to rise. Energy doesn't need your approval to correct imbalance. The universe is not cruel, it's precise. And what they're seeing now, it's the reflection of everything they threw at you, coming back to them with interest. The signs are tailored, specific, personal. They don't just see crows, they see crows right after they think of you. They don't just hear your name, they hear it from people they'd never expect. They don't just feel tension, they feel it when they scroll past your picture, pretending they're over it. That's how aligned this reckoning is. That's how locked in the justice is. Some of them are trying to act unfazed, posting fake smiles, living their best lie, but even in their captions, they're giving away the fear. Vague quotes about guilt, cryptic stories about energy shifts. Suddenly they're into protecting their peace when they were the ones disturbing yours. Don't fall for it. What you're witnessing is the unraveling of someone who knows. The universe is on your side, and there's no coming back from what they set in motion. They might not speak your name aloud, but your silence echoes in their life louder than any conversation ever could. You ever hear the story of Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart? A man commits a crime and hides the evidence beneath the floorboards, but he starts hearing the heartbeat of the one he destroyed. Day after day, it grows louder. Not because it was real, but because guilt is a sound that never stops playing once it's been triggered. That's where they are now, living in that heartbeat. Not yours, theirs. Reminding them every day of what they did to the one they should have protected. Omens are like mirrors in motion. They reflect not what we want to see, but what we need to face. and for them, that reflection is brutal. That reflection shows a coward, a traitor, a manipulator, a jealous soul who tampered with something sacred and thought they'd never be held accountable. But now, every strange coincidence is a courtroom. Every repeating number is a witness. Every nightmare is testimony, and the verdict is circling. They used to brag about how unbothered they were. Now they jump at shadows. Used to say, the universe doesn't care. Now they read horoscopes looking for mercy. They're scared of things they once dismissed. Why? Because deep down, they know. The signs are not just signs. The omens are not just warnings. They're proof. Proof that they lost you. Proof that they were wrong. Proof that there's a force watching everything, and that force doesn't forget. And let's be honest, these omens aren't done. They're only intensifying, because the more you rise, the more pressure is placed on them to feel what they avoided. Your glow forces exposure. Your peace disrupts their narrative. Your win is a spiritual subpoena. So let them watch. Let them panic. Let them call it superstition. The signs won't stop just because they're uncomfortable. That's the thing about omens. They don't seek your approval. They arrive with divine timing and ruthless purpose. They're seeing it everywhere, and no matter how hard they run, they can't outrun what's already inside them, because truth lives in the nervous system, and guilt is the ghost they can't silence anymore. So the next time they roll their eyes at your growth, the next time they try to play like they're above it all, remember this: behind the scenes, they're being haunted, and every omen is screaming what they refuse to hear when you try to tell them with love. The universe is loud now, and they can't turn the volume down. Number 3, they tried to curse you and got cursed instead. The spell bounced, the price heavy. They thought they could tamper with energy like it was a game. They whispered your name in dark places, lit candles not for healing, but for harm. They may not have used cauldrons or cloaks, but don't get it twisted. Intention is the ritual, and they laced their thoughts with venom. They visualized your downfall, sent prayers to your enemies, meditated on your ruin. Petty jealousy disguised as protection. But guess what? The spell didn't stick. It bounced. And now the consequences are chasing them like shadows with teeth. See, when a soul is truly chosen, it walks with protection you can't see. You're not alone. You've never been alone. Your ancestors, your spiritual guards, your unseen allies, they saw it all. Every whisper, every fake smile, every manipulative move made behind closed doors. And they let it slide at first. But the moment your name was used in rituals of hate, the moment your peace became someone else's obsession, that's when the protection activated. Suddenly, they started slipping. Strange illnesses, jobs falling through, friendships crumbling, cars breaking down at the worst possible time, unexplainable losses, one after another. That's not bad luck. That's divine balance. That's what happens when you aim dark energy at someone whose glow is spiritually guarded. They thought they could hex your progress, but now they're living inside the very energy they sent. They ask, why is everything going wrong? The answer is simple. You touched a soul that was off limits. You trespassed on sacred ground, thinking you could walk away clean. But energy doesn't play favorites. Energy returns home. And what you send out with intention always finds its way back with interest. You ever notice how they go silent now, how they don't speak your name? That's not respect, that's fear, because they've realized the universe wasn't playing. That sending darkness to someone chosen doesn't just fail, it backfires. That's why they're stumbling. That's why everything feels cursed now. Because it is. You didn't have to retaliate. You didn't have to fight back. Your silence was enough. Because when the universe loves you, it avenges you without noise. It brings justice in the form of chaos they can't explain. So if you've been feeling like something is shifting, like you're protected in ways you can't put into words, it's real. You're not crazy. You're covered. You're shielded. And the very people who tried to break your spirit are now haunted by the truth. You were never touchable. So leave them in their chaos. Let them wrestle with the shadows they unleashed. You stay focused, stay glowing. The universe already handled it. Number 4, your silence is driving them insane. They don't know your next move, and that's killing them. They never thought the day would come when you'd stop explaining yourself, stop defending your name, stop entertaining their gaslighting, their guilt trips, their fake apologies laced with manipulation. But it came, and when it did, you didn't scream, you didn't announce it, you just went silent. And that silence, it's doing damage no argument ever could, because silence is power, it's a mirror. And right now, they're being forced to sit with their own reflection. And it's filthy. No distractions, no justifications, no chaos to redirect the blame. Just the weight of what they did. And the chilling truth that you've gone quiet, not weak. See, they thrived off your reactions, fed off your pain. They needed you loud, emotional, triggered, because it made them feel in control. But now you've unplugged, you've withdrawn your energy. You're not answering texts, not lurking, not chasing. And for the first time in a long time, they're the one wondering if you've healed, if you've replaced them, if you're never coming back. They can't see your next move, and it's eating them alive. They scroll your page, hoping for a clue. Watch your stories, trying to read between the lines. Ask mutual friends if you're doing okay, while pretending they don't care. But the truth is, they're obsessed. And your silence is the loudest thing in their life right now. That's the kind of psychological warfare they didn't prepare for, because silence doesn't just starve attention, it exposes desperation, and they're cracking under it. They might pretend they're fine, post cryptic quotes, act unbothered, but behind that fake composure is chaos, restlessness, sleepless nights wondering how the one they underestimated found the strength to disappear. You didn't ghost them, you evolved beyond their frequency, and that right there, that's what they can't handle. Because your silence took away their power, their ability to control the narrative, their chance to play victim while painting you as the emotional one. Now, they're stuck arguing with your absence, fighting battles they created with no audience. So keep quiet, keep moving in shadows, let the silence choke their ego. Because what they're learning now is this: once a chosen one goes silent, it's not a game, it's closure, without conversation, without warning, without mercy. Number 5, everything they stole is crumbling. They lied, they schemed, they forged. Now it's all burning. They thought they could get away with it, with the lies, the betrayal, the carefully calculated fraud. They smiled while doing it too, looked you in the eye and denied it all with a straight face. But behind the scenes, they were signing your name on papers they had no right to touch, spreading lies in courtrooms, hiding money, forging documents, manipulating wills, blocking opportunities, and for a while it looked like they won. But let me tell you something about spiritual law. It runs deeper than the courts. What they built was never a legacy. It was a ticking time bomb wrapped in ego and theft. They didn't just rob you of money or land or opportunities. They tried to hijack your destiny. But destiny doesn't work like that. It can't be faked. It can't be stolen. What's yours by divine alignment will always return to you. And now, it's returning with vengeance. You ever seen a house that looks perfect from the outside but starts cracking from the foundation? That's their life right now. Cracks showing up in every direction. Lawsuits, audits, secret affairs coming to light. Family turning on family. What they took through deception is now collapsing through divine exposure, because energy built on theft can never stay upright. It rots from within. You were the rightful heir, spiritually and otherwise. They may have pushed you out, rewritten the rules, played politics behind closed doors. But now even their allies are jumping ship. Why? Because guilt is contagious. And truth always leaves fingerprints, no matter how much they try to wash them off. They thought no one saw them, but the universe did. They thought they could fake loyalty and forge blessings, but now their mask is slipping. Their hands are getting caught in places they swore they never touched. And the silence they once weaponized, it's now the very thing exposing them. Their name is being whispered in rooms where they're not present, just like they did to you. The difference is, this time, it's not gossip. It's justice. So let them lose what they stole. Let it burn. The house, the land, the fake title, the name they tried to rewrite. It was never truly theirs. And now, everyone's watching as the fire spreads. While you rise from the ashes like the rightful one you were always meant to be. Number 6. The ancestors marked you safe, but not them. You're covered, they're hunted. You ever notice how the birds don't scatter when you walk by? How the street goes quiet just before something spiritual hits your chest? How you've been waking up at certain hours with chills, only to find out later that something tried to touch you, but couldn't? That's not coincidence. That's coverage. That's your ancestors, your spiritual backup, the protectors that walk beside you while others pretend you're walking alone. You've been marked safe, not because you begged, not because you fought back, but because your spirit carries the kind of weight that cannot be touched without consequence. Your walk is different because your roots are deep. While others chase clout and clapbacks, you've been silently guarded by forces older than time. And now, those same forces have drawn the line in the sand. You've been spared, they haven't, because those omens, those signs they used to laugh at, the black cat crossing their path, the shadow in the mirror that wasn't theirs, the recurring dream of something watching them, the sound of whispering when no one's around. Those aren't random. Those are notices, warnings, red letters from the spirit world that their deeds have awakened something that won't be ignored. You didn't have to curse them. Your ancestors saw enough. They watched the betrayal, the theft, the smirks, the arrogance, the way they used your name like it was disposable, and they let it ride for a while. But spiritual justice always has timing, and when it hits, it's not loud, it's surgical. It isolates them, it confuses them, it makes their prayers feel like screams into a void. Because what they don't understand is there's a point where even mercy pulls its hand back. So if they're restless, haunted, feeling sick for no reason, watching relationships fall apart with no warning, that's not bad luck. That's what it looks like when the ancestors mark you out. See, they messed with a soul that didn't walk alone. They tried to dismantle a spirit that had divine GPS tracking, and now everything they once stood on is cracking beneath their feet, because you were never the target. They were. So walk boldly. You are surrounded by protection they can't decode, and every sign, every number, every dream you've had telling you to stay quiet and keep moving. Listen, the ancestors are not confused. They marked you safe for a reason. And them? They're not safe at all. Number 7. They wanted your power, but couldn't handle it. They drank from your cup and choked. They didn't want to honor you, they wanted to be you. Every smile they gave was a scan, every compliment a download. They weren't clapping for you, they were calculating, studying, plotting how to mimic your light, your voice, your energy. But here's what they didn't understand. Power like yours isn't borrowed. It's birthed through pain, through fire, through spiritual alignment. You didn't just wake up magnetic. You earned that frequency through every betrayal, every night you cried alone, every time you had to rebuild with nothing but prayer and grit. Your glow came with a cost they were never willing to pay. So when they tried to copy you, your style, your words, your walk, it short-circuited their spirit. Because this isn't a costume, this isn't something you can replicate with filters and fake smiles. And when they drank from your cup thinking they could carry what you carry, they choked. Now look at them, drained, paranoid, losing followers, losing clout, losing income, their energy, office, their aura, dull. That magnetic pull they tried to imitate is slipping through their fingers because the universe doesn't reward stolen frequency. You can't Photoshop purpose. You can't mimic spiritual depth. Eventually, the mask cracks, and the people watching see it all. They thought they could attract your blessings without walking your path. But the blessings you carry aren't free. They're bonded to your pain, to your resilience, to the anointing only suffering can produce. So when they tried to wear your crown without bleeding for it, the weight bent their neck. And now they're scrambling. Their content doesn't hit anymore. Their presence doesn't land. People are noticing the shift because energy never lies. And when you're faking it, it shows. What's wild is they didn't even want to heal. They just wanted your results, your applause, your light. But your light was born from a darkness they ran from. So now they're exposed, drenched in envy and desperate for validation, while you rise, untouched, unfazed, unbothered. So let them copy, let them watch. Because when the source is divine, the counterfeit never survives. And baby, you are the source. Number 8. Your health, your food, your spirit. They tried to poison it all. They fed on you, but now you're detoxing the demons. They couldn't touch your destiny, so they came for your vessel. They knew they couldn't outshine your soul, so they tried to slow down your body, poisoned through kindness, curses through closeness, offering you food that carried the weight of envy, smiling while handing you energy laced with destruction. Yes, they came with plates, beds, and hugs, but their intention was spiritual decay. You ever wonder why your body suddenly felt heavy around them? Why after spending time with them, you'd feel foggy, tired, drained for days? That wasn't love, that was leeching. You weren't tired, you were being targeted. Because chosen ones aren't just mentally strong, we're energetically rich. And they thought if they couldn't beat you, they could weaken you through your diet, through intimacy, through false friendship, through toxins that look like tenderness. But the joke is on them because you woke up. You started to notice. You felt the nausea, the sudden headaches, the recurring dreams, the gut feeling. You stopped eating what they made. You stepped back from the sex that left your soul uneasy. You stopped hugging those who felt cold underneath. You didn't just physically withdraw, you went inward. You fasted, you cleansed, you cut cords, you gave up certain foods, music, people, conversations. You prayed not for revenge, but for release. And that was the moment everything shifted, because parasites panic when the host fights back. They can't survive in purity, in silence, in light. So now they're flailing, confused, sick, Some of them even publicly spiraling, random weight loss or gain, skin breaking out, mental health unraveling. Not because you hexed them, but because they lost access to your life force. You were their fuel, and now that you're gone, they're starving. They didn't realize your temple had divine security, that your body was sacred ground, guarded by ancestors, angels, and spiritual fire. They underestimated how dangerous it is to poison someone who's protected. Now, every spell, every toxin, every bad intention they sent is coming back through their own bloodstream. Their guilt is festering inside them. Their own energy is turning toxic, because what you send out always returns multiplied. So keep detoxing, keep cleansing, keep protecting your plate, your bed, your circle. Because you've done the work, the parasite has been exposed, and they're not just sick now, they're spiritually infected. Number 9, they can't cancel what the universe already crowned. You were never for the crowd, you were for the throne. They tried it. Oh, they really thought they had it. A little lie here, a fake screenshot there, a whisper behind your back, a smear campaign in full swing. They thought if they could just twist your image, if they could convince enough people that you were the problem, the weirdo, the threat, they could erase you, cancel you, strip you of your power by contaminating your name. But what they didn't understand is this. Your crown wasn't voted on by man. It was assigned by the universe. You weren't chosen by popularity. You were chosen by purpose. That's why no matter how loud the lies got, the truth started screaming back. And the same mouths they used to tear you down, now stuttering in shame. Because here's the divine irony. They tried to drag your name through mud, but all they did was make people look at you longer. They gave you attention trying to destroy you, but they accidentally amplified you. People got curious. They started watching you, listening, reading your energy. And what they saw wasn't chaos or evil. It was poise, clarity, and strength. That's when everything started flipping. The crowd that once doubted you, quiet. The ones who took sides against you, starting to distance themselves from them. The gossip ring is cracking. The screenshots they used are surfacing with new context. The truth is moving like a storm, slow at first, but then all at once. And you didn't even have to clap back. Your silence did all the talking. Because when the universe crowns you, no slander, no plot, no jealous group chat can remove what's already written in the stars. You weren't built for public approval. You were built for alignment, for elevation, for legacy. And that legacy, it's already unfolding. Your reputation is not only restored, it's reinforced. People are seeing what they refused to see before. You're the real one, the grounded one. The one who stayed calm while being hunted, who grew stronger through every shot fired. And now they know. Whoever tried to cancel you is the one who's really crumbling. So let them talk, let them spin, because you've already won. The throne doesn't answer to the crowd, and you've already been seated. Number 10. The karma is personal and public. They thought the consequences would be quiet. They were wrong. They truly believed they'd walk away clean, that they could betray you, violate you, lie on your name, mock your spirit, and still get applauded for it. They thought the karma would be subtle, private, software. But the universe doesn't play patty cake with wickedness. The karma you send out with venom comes back with violence. And this time, it's not just showing up in their emotions, it's hitting their entire reality. See, when they were laughing, gossiping, conspiring in their little circles, you were silent. You let them talk, let them scheme. You even warned them, gently at first, then in silence. but they took your stillness for weakness. They mistook your elevation for isolation, and they assumed the universe would look away. But the universe was taking notes, and now those notes are turning into headlines, into subpoenas, into firings, into public collapse. What they did in the dark is being dragged into the light, and it's not cute. Someone is being exposed in front of the very audience they once tried to impress. Another is facing legal consequences, charges, audits, fines, lawsuits. There's a shake-up happening that can't be hidden anymore. And here's the most poetic part. It's personal. It's not just some vague karmic payback. It's tailor-made. Everything they tried to do to you, they're now experiencing it. But worse, you were slandered. Now they're being humiliated. You were stolen from. Now they're watching everything they built collapse. You cried in secret. They're screaming in public. And it's not just physical, it's spiritual. Their sleep is broken, their circles are shrinking, their peace is gone. Every mirror they look into shows them the one person they can't escape, themselves. Because this isn't about revenge, this is justice. And justice doesn't knock softly when it shows up. It walks straight through the front door while the whole world is watching. You may not see all of it yet, but the energy is shifting. The whispers are getting louder, screenshots are leaking, eyes are turning, and they know it's not random. It's a reckoning. They're unraveling behind closed doors, yelling, scrambling, losing control. And deep down, they remember every single thing they did to you, every message they sent, every lie they spread, every time they thought you'd never recover. And now they realize you weren't bluffing. You are protected, and the universe was watching the whole time. This karma isn't just punishment, it's proof. Number 11. You're in your winning season, and they know it. Every win you get feels like an omen to them, because it is. You didn't have to announce it. You didn't have to broadcast it. You just kept showing up, quiet, consistent, focused, while they were busy trying to dismantle your name, your reputation, your mind. You were building, healing, rising. And now, they feel it in their gut. Every laugh you share, every win you post, every moment of peace you experience hits them like a siren they can't shut off. Because you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not bitter, you're better. And that glow, that isn't just the light of success. That's the radiance of restoration. You got back everything they tried to take from you, and then some. And now the tables have fully turned. You don't chase anymore, you attract. You don't beg for clarity, you embody it. You don't prove yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You walk in purpose, and the universe clears the path. That energy shift they feel every time you walk into a room, that's the power of alignment. That gut punch they get when they see your face, hear your name, or watch you thrive from afar. That's their soul remembering what it lost. They fumbled you, they misjudged you, they thought you were replaceable, but the universe marked you for greatness, and now, every single thing you touch turns into gold. Not because you're lucky, but because you're anointed by experience. You didn't just level up, you earned it. And now they're stuck watching from the sidelines of their own downfall. And here's the twist. They're obsessed, still checking your page, still replaying conversations, still trying to decode your moves, because your life has become the very thing they tried to block. A walking omen of what happens when truth wins, when silence speaks louder than slander, when character crushes manipulation. They tried to bury you. You grew roots. They tried to replace you. You became irreplaceable. They tried to end your story, but the universe made sure you're just now hitting chapter 1 of your rise. So stay calm, stay radiant, stay aligned, because your winning season isn't a fluke, it's a message, and every win you collect is a reminder to them that no weapon formed against you could ever prosper. Not then, not now, not ever. And now you see it, clear as day. The signs weren't random. The setbacks weren't losses. It was all divine setup for this moment, your rise. They tried to destroy you, but the universe had other plans. Now they're stuck in karma while you're stepping into your crown. Stay focused, stay elevated. Your season is here, and there's no going back. If this message hit your soul, like this video, subscribe for more truth like this, and drop the number 777 in the comments to claim your victory. Share this with another chosen one who needs to remember who they are.